Hello, and I'd like to welcome you all once again to the old schoolhouse here in the village of Butterstone in Perthshire in Scotland for this another wee half an hour live show. And this is number 96. Can you believe it? I can't believe I've done 96 of these wee shows. Amazing. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'd like you to welcome to the stage the wonderful Tatty Faces who are going to be accompanying me tonight. For those of you who haven't watched one of these shows before, we're actually in the old village school where I live, and it's the one-room village school in a little village of Butterstone, and it's the school that I went to, and my father went to it in the 1930s, and then I got it 30 odd years ago and made all my records here, so it's a very appropriate place to do these wee shows from. Anyway, a couple of things before I start. I went out with my pal Pete yesterday on my bicycle, and I've pulled a muscle in my back. So if I collapse on the stage in the middle of this, because this is actually live, this is not recorded, and it's not been done earlier on and all edited up. This is live. So if I collapse on the floor, then that's what happened. And Duncan Tattyface offered to give me a massage before the concert, but I was going, no, I'm fine, Duncan. I mean, have you had a look at these big tatty bogle hands? You know what I mean? No. So we'll try. So I'm going to start off with a really old song of mine. This is really old. I hope I can remember it. But we'll try it and see how we go on. And with the songs these days, I'm just taking all the requests. We put them in Duncan's hat, and I pick out a few, and it's quite nice because it means I don't have to think too much about choosing songs. And just. It's a random process, which is great. So here we go. He is the farmer, and he turns our tired soil, and watches as the water once so cool is brought up to the boil. His tired eyes from relentless seasons burn, hold him to his every word, and all the things still left undone. Look now, there's another page, another story. Look now, there's another reason why it's hard to rest in peace. He is the sailor, and he sails on 7 seas. He knows he won't let go till the storm has brought him to his knees. He'll keep on searching until all the shoals have gone, and there's not one single dream that he can sail his ship upon. Look now, there's another page, another story. Look now, there's another reason why it's hard to rest in peace. He is the honest man, we all know how he's been. We all know his story and we've seen it on the silver screen. And though his wisdom we've barely tried to save, his memory, it lingers, oh, and it will haunt us to the grave. Look now, there's another page, another story. Look now, there's another reason why it's hard to rest in peace. Look now, there's another page, another story. Look now, there's another reason why it's hard to rest in peace. So, thank you very much, and that's my wee song, Another Story. And I thought I would do a wee bit of kind of show and tell just quickly here, because it's been a great week here. It's been so warm in Butterstone, and in fact, it's been too warm. And a lot of you know that I keep bees, and I started off at the beginning of the year with 2 hives of bees, and I have 7 hives of bees because they keep swarming and I keep catching them and I keep putting them into new boxes. Anyway, this week I took off a couple of bars of honey from the bees, and I thought it would be quite nice to share with you the little my pride and joy, my Butterstone honey. I don't know if you can get it on that camera, can you? That close-up camera? Yeah. This is my beautiful, and it's probably kind of blossom honey because it's from the earlier from the year. But anyway, that's Butterstone. This is a bit of a show and tell, my produce. And those of you might have noticed that I put a little post up on my Facebook page about the bizarre cucumbers that I bought a lot of packets of seeds earlier on. My father was a gardener. I've never really been interested in growing vegetables, but this year, because of lockdown, I thought I would have a wee go. And I planted this thing, and I thought there was something wrong with my cucumbers because they're round and they're white, but they're actually crystal cucumbers and they're delicious. So I thought I would show you my crystal cucumber and my tomatoes. It's the first time I've ever had tomatoes that go red. So I'm pretty pleased with myself, and so I just thought I would share that with you. And I'm going to do this wee song, which I spent a lot of time up on the west coast of the island of Lewis, and about 30 years ago when I went up there, a lot of the old crofters were still kind of alive. You know, there are a lot of them gone now, but they were still crofting in the way they've been working for years. And I was very lucky to get to know a few of them. And they used to take their sheep out to a lot of islands around where I spend time, and they took the sheep out to the islands, and it was amazing. And I was very lucky to be able to go out and try and help them a couple of times, you know, and bring the sheep back at about this time of year, actually. But it was interesting because I had a kind of rib, you know, a boat with inflatable tubes and a hull and a big engine, and I'd go out to the island with that. And the day that I went out, when I wrote this song, actually, well, what got me to write this song, it was a bit of a wind getting up, and I had to get ashore, and it was a bit rocky, and it took me about half an hour to get the boat anchored and get offshore and get the boat sitting comfortably on anchor off the rocks. But there was a couple of old guys that they appeared in this great big wooden boat. This was to ferry the sheep back to the mainland. This great big wide-beamed wooden boat, clinker-built boat, with a 2-horsepower Seagull engine in it. They appeared round the kind of headland, and and within 5 minutes they ran the boat up onto the rocks. One of the old boys jumped off with a couple of ropes, and within 5 minutes they had the boat sitting beautifully. And I was going, isn't that amazing? When you know what you're doing, having that ancient kind of knowledge. Anyway, they would put maybe 50 sheep on these wooden boats and take them back to the mainland, and the water would be just that much away from the top of the boat, and it was brilliant. And I just got kind of really moved by that kind of that connection that they had to a kind of continuous thing that had been happening there for probably hundreds of years. So I wrote this song, and it's got a chorus. You can join us if you want. We'll just have a wee go at it and see how we got on. It's not a song that I sing a lot either, but we'll come out of the heart. So forward together, forward together, we share the beam of weathered oak, father to father. We lean on every word they spoke. Listen how the winds are due to change. Look at how the tide it turns again. They're following another time. They're following another time. It's beautiful, oh. Eyes cannot hold it. They're following another time. That's what you sing. They're following another time. It's beautiful, oh, and these ties cannot hold it. Maybe we'll do that again. Maybe you get the hang of it. They're following another time. Following another time. Beautiful, oh, and these ties cannot hold it. They're following another time, following another time. It's beautiful, oh, and these ties cannot hold it. They cut the long grass, they cut to save the summer sun. We take the long glass, we drink till we will be as one, waiting for the gentle seasons change. We're waiting, so much waiting for it all. They're following another time, following another time. Beautiful, oh, and these ties cannot hold it. They're following another time, following another time. It's beautiful, oh, and these ties cannot hold it. Good night, baby. Stand so silent, stand so silent, to watch across the endless sea, so calm, so violent. Is this the dawning truth I see? Listen how the winds are due to change. Listen how the tide it turns they're following another time, following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, these ties cannot hold it. Try it. They're following another time, they're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, these ties cannot hold it. They're following another time, they're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, and these ties cannot hold it. They're following another time, they're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, these ties cannot hold it. Thank you very much. That's my song, Following Another Time. I could hear you singing. I'm getting the vibe here in Butterstone. It's Saturday night, and it's a wee sing song happening out there now. I just had a quick look at some of the comments as before I walked up here, and it's amazing how people from all over the world have been joining us over these 96 concerts. And I'm always amazed when I see something else popping up. Somebody from Kentucky, and then somebody from Carlisle, and then somebody from Berlin. And you go, what? It's wonderful. Yeah, thank you for joining me. I'm going to do this wee song, and this is actually where I do the chorus song. And this one came out of the hat, and so I thought that was quite good. It's quite a... it's a bit of a newer song of mine, and I thought it was quite nice to do this tonight. And I've got another wee story to tell you. You might have heard me talking about the aubergine wars that I was having with my mother, my 86-year-old mother, who lives just a couple of miles away down in the village. I grew some aubergines from seed, and I gave her a couple, and we were having a wee bit of a competition, and she had a couple of beautiful plants, and the aubergines were beautiful. And I had I had a lot of aubergine plants, and I've got quite a few aubergines out there. But something mysterious happened. She had beautiful aubergines on her plant, and one of the aubergine plants died. And it was a disaster this week. It was a disaster. She was devastated, and she's watching the show tonight. I know that she'll be. Don't tell everybody about that. But anyway, she was accusing me of sabotaging her aubergine, because we were having a wee bit of a competition to see who would get the biggest aubergine first. But I managed to take one of my good aubergines from my wee greenhouse, and I took it down during the week and replaced the dead one with the good aubergine, and it's going great guns now. So I just thought I'd keep you kind of updated on the aubergine war. Anyway, this is my version of the kind of night visiting song, and I've done this a few times over the last 96 shows. But so those of you who are regulars will have got the chorus nailed by now. But you sing. It's my version of a kind of standard night visiting song, and you sing, "Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night?" Okay? Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? Just going to have a wee sip of Nigel's medicine. We tickle in my throat there. Okay, so here we go. This is the chorus. We'll do it a couple of times before we start the song, so that I know you're all comfortable with it, all right? Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? Okay, that's what you sing. Here you go. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? one more time so that I know that you've got it, and then we'll have it nailed. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? And I may lose my way back home, lose the signs that I've been shown, wander helpless through the storm, all alone. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? When I may lose the strength to run, finish what I've not begun, fading with the winter sun, everything undone. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? And I may lose the strength to dream, for nothing is the way it seems, and all the places I have been forever unseen. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? And this is where you all sing it on your own. Are you all ready to go? Will you hear? Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm getting the vibe here in the old school, and I'm getting a global chorus choir happening here. Aren't we? We'll do it again with maybe some of the Tatty Faces' famous 5-part harmony. Will you hear? Beautiful. Oh, and nothing ever comes to fear, out of sight but always near, waiting for the sky to clear. I will disappear. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? One last night. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? On this wild and windy night. Beautiful. Well done. Well done. Well done. That was brilliant. That's my wee song, Wild and Windy Night. And actually, it kind of feels funny singing it when it's so hot outside. I mean, even it's still hot. It's 9 o'clock, well, 9:30 now, and it's still hot in Butterstone, which is very unusual. My sister and I were just talking. We were just saying it reminds us of the summers we used to have when we were kids, and we would be out raspberry picking. And we haven't had one of these summers for a long time. Anyway, I hope you're all kind of looking after each other over the last wee while, and I know that there's a lot of crazy things going on. I know there's a lot of sort of fires in America and floods in China and in Germany. There's been terrible floods, and so I hope you're all kind of staying cheery and looking after each other. And it's a very strange time. I'm going to finish with this wee song. Oh, I'll play it on this guitar. And this is a wee song I wrote after the birth of my first grandchild. And those of you who were watching the ticketed stream last week would have heard Callum, the little Callum, he's 6 now, singing the chorus during the show. Anyway, this was for his older brother, and I remember going into the hospital because you know, as a man, you're not kind of really involved in the whole childbirth thing. You know, I mean, particularly if you're a granddad, you know, and you're kind of brought in at the last minute after it's all over to kind of meet the grandchild. And I remember giving him, and he was looking up at me, and you could see him kind of looking up, going, "Who's that wrinkly old man who suddenly appeared on the scene?" You know, and I'm going, "I'm your granddad. You know, I'm your granddad." So I thought a better way to introduce myself to him would be to write a wee song. And so I wrote this song. I wrote this wee song to kind of introduce myself to him. So this is... again and try and get it a wee bit better. I'd like to say hello, to welcome you and let you know that if time will be our friend, to watch you grow, and I'll help you to defend your every new tomorrow. And this old heart is strong, shining through to lead you on. And if time will let us be, we'll get to walk that field, and all the mysteries that we see may be revealed. As old souls fade away and the sun shines on your brand new day, but if fear should enter in, you don't know what to do, you'll find me hiding in the wind, ever near you. I'd like to say hello, to welcome you, time will be our friend, help you to defend your every new tomorrow. Thank you very much, and that's my wee song, me introducing myself to my grandchildren. And so, if you're if you're in that situation, feel free to use that song as an introduction. If the sentiment works for you. Anyway, thank you very much for joining. It's just me and Jenny in the old school tonight. We have a kind of a wee self-made automated system here which we work, and so. Thanks very much for joining us. Thanks to the Tatty Faces for their wonderful accompaniment. The Tatty Faces are not very happy about the 7 hives of bees, I must be honest, because they have their shed out there, and there's 2 hives is okay, but 7 hives, there's an awful lot of bees out in the garden out there now, and I'm having a wee bit of a problem keeping the Tatty Faces kind of calm and going, look, come the winter, we'll be fine. But with this hot weather, there's bees everywhere. Anyway, thank you for joining us. I always like to take a wee chance at this point, because one of the reasons I started doing these shows was just to kind of keep everybody's spirits up, and I always like to thank all the people who are at the sharp end, all the care workers, all the NHS workers, the teachers, the supermarket ladies, the van drivers, and everybody who's been driving around in this heat with masks on, and everything's very difficult there. Thank you very much for putting yourself through all this for us all, and we will get to an end eventually. So, and I'll just give you a wee toast and thank my dear friend Nigel for keeping me supplied with vintage port. And he says we'll get through to number 100, I think, with his source of. So thank you, Nigel, once again. And I'll just give a wee toast to you all. Thank you for joining us. Have a great week. Look after each other. Stay cheery and smile like a tatty face. And I'll see you next weekend. Night, night.